That was really loud. So we're looking at art, okay? So we need to make sure that our evidence is art, okay? And then you can talk about negotiating it. So you're looking at the point can be your evidence. Sorry, your point can be your artwork.
Yeah.
In this piece, they don't do this, okay?
That's my point.
So to be naked is to be vulnerable from the viewer's gaze, like in, okay?
Okay.
And then your evidence would be the body language, would be the figure, okay? Can you see if you can access my post-it note document? Let's see if I type in.
There you go.
So this is it really basic, but this is here we wouldn't be using sentence starters, sentence middles. Here we'd be using sentences. Like this would be your thesis statement. This would be your evidence. How we would connect that evidence. And then this would be the important bit, so that we'd use it. Yeah?
Yeah, so the point is the piece. And then
The point is what the piece is proving.
Oh.
So you're not just saying, you use a piece, but you tell me what that piece proves or disproves. Okay? It's not a vocabulary test. It's in terms of art, what are we seeing or not seeing? What are we doing or not doing? Does that make sense? Yine?
Yeah.
Yine, okay, so yine. Yine's okay.
Yeah.
Alright? So let's go through a few together. Okay, so can you tell me a piece where the artist has portrayed the figure as naked and vulnerable to the viewer's gaze? Okay.
Ingresses piece.
Okay. So like in
Just say ingress.
you write it because my pen's run out. So you've got a nice point you've made there. So you've got the ambiguous. Read the rest of it out to me.
Ambiguous by her refusal to meet the viewer's gaze. And you're like Betty.
Yeah, like Betty,
But like older.
but like naked or nude.
But like
The viewer's gaze. Okay. So you're saying, figures body language here. So you're saying this image, she is naked. How does the fact that her not willing to look at the viewer prove that there's a difference between naked and nude?
she doesn't want the viewer to gaze her, but they are gazing at her.
Okay. So is that answer? So is that saying there's a distinction? Are you just telling me a load of things, or are you arguing something?
At this point, I'm more telling.
So maybe if we do the is there.
Hey. Are we not going with the...
Let's just try this one for a second though. If we change this to is there a distinction between naked and nude? You're saying Burgess suggested this definition is to be naked is to be oneself or to be vulnerable to the viewer's gaze. Is that something that he said? Okay. So you're saying she is naked, she's not nude because she's refusing to meet the viewer's gaze. She's feeling vulnerable. Proves that there's a distinction between naked and nude. Proves she is not nude.
She is not nude because nude would be to be put up for display. Like your display figure.
So you're saying that
And she's not at a... Like, from her body language, you can see that she's not up for it. Like, she doesn't want to be displayed. So it's kind of like making her vulnerable because she doesn't want to be exposed. That's also what Berger says.
okay, so maybe we need to quote Berger here. Okay, the point you're making is that Berger says there's a difference between the two things. This piece is not nude because she isn't presenting herself and engaging with the display. Yeah, which might be just linking back to that quote that, yeah? You're saying her body language shows that she is turning away, she's refusing to meet this viewer's gaze, but they're continuing to look. So it's not her perfected figure that's being presented, it's just her unclothed one.
Yeah.
Does that make sense how you prove that? Not perfect, not presented, unclothed. Yeah?
Yeah. It's not like, yeah.
She's not doing that, right? She's not. You're saying because she's not in control of her presentation, she's naked.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. Happy with that happy with that point?
Yes.
Yeah? That explanation of that point. Okay. So this point we need to look now is a nude is taking control of the narrative. Okay, so we're pulling on from this point,
Okay.
moving that forward. So what proof? We've made a point.
Can I number them, please?
No, because you will figure them out later. Because you might order them,
You
decide
order
on them.
them,
Yeah. It might be that this point follows this point, or that this point gets made first and then this point. So you just make them all on a different piece of paper. Okay. Nude is taking control of the narrative. So what proof do we have that a nude takes control of the narrative?
Okay, here we go. This, I have a good one. This is the first self-portrait, what's it called? Full-length, self-portrait of a naked woman.
Okay, so who's this? Paula.
This is Paula Modersohn-Becker. Just
Paula Modersohn.
there's some German sprinkled in there.
Love it. Self portrait with necklace. Spot that wrong. Okay. So this is our evidence. This image, okay. What is this image doing that is taking control of the narrative and potentially giving me a definition between naked and nude?
Because she's taking control of the narrative. In here, you would assume that she's pregnant. The way she's like
How? Okay, she's controlling the narrative. Tell me the control of the narrative. How is she controlling the narrative?
She is the one painting herself. It's not through someone, like an outsider's idealization. It's her own. So she's through painting, she's actively taking control of her own narrative.
Okay.
And then you can see how she's able to control how we see it, because you think she's pregnant, but she's not. She's just through her body language.
She's not pregnant?
She's not pregnant.
Okay, all right. So we need a new piece of paper. Do we have any more paper on the table?
Is there one?
Oh, they might have taken it. It's fine. We'll use the back of Serena's because she's not. Okay. So, control the narrative. The next point that you're making, following on from this one, yeah, is that she looks pregnant. Yeah? The evidence we have of that is her.
Okay, let me double check that fact. Hold on. And illusion of pregnancy, but she is not pregnant. There we go. Did I put that? I highlight that. Is it food baby?
Potential food baby. Okay. So why did she do it then? So she's controlling this narrative. She's made herself look pregnant, but she isn't pregnant. Do we know why?
I don't. offers a number of minor. So like I guess she's taking advantage of how we see the female
How is
body.
she?
How?
Yeah, how is she doing that? You've made this claim that she's taking advantage of how we see it.
Conventional.
How is she taking?
like, body
Just quickly though,
language.
how is she taking advantage of it? And how do we usually see it? You're putting out two claims. You need to qualify both of them.
I have to qualify both.
You're saying one claim that she's questioning it, and one claim that she's.
I might be more researching this, but like
Okay, so then we need to put the
usually-
question. Then we just put them in here.
because I think society views women in two ways. Either like for as sexual objects or for reproduction, right? That's their main like two purposes.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. You're suggesting that it could be that she's choosing her narrative. The narrative she's choosing is to present herself as unclothed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With her own narrative, where she looks pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. The posture has the illusion of pregnancy. The reason she's done this, we're not sure.
Yeah.
So we need to find out whether that's what that is. Okay? Does that make sense?
If like a quote like, oh, I did this because.
Yeah.
What
Or-
if I can't find it?
Then you have to figure out whether or not you've got enough evidence to prove the point. And remember, evidence can be inside or outside of the canvas. Yeah? Okay, next point. Both use an idealization through the artist and the viewer's gaze. So you're saying, if we're saying the question is there a definition? You're saying no distinction.
To us.
Yeah, so you're not saying definition, you're saying is there a difference? Potentially.
I said distinction.
You said what is the definition, what is the distinction between, oh I wrote it different. What is the distinction? Sorry, I wrote it different.
It's okay.
Okay, so what's the distinction between naked and nude in art? Yeah? Both use and idealized through the artist and viewer's gaze. Give me proof. How do you know?
One could be this one.
Okay, so we go early, okay?
And this is nude.
Huh?
I think it's nude.
So you're saying,
Actually, I'm. Yeah. Because, like, how I see nude is like appreciation for appreciation.
what I
of-
need to know here, idealization through the artist and viewer's gaze. You're giving me this.
Mhm.
So you're saying a naked figure is still idealized. So every single time a woman is unclothed, they're presenting an idealized version. I would entirely disagree with that. Look at contemporary art forms.
Okay.
So I'm concerned slightly that you're doing too broad a question that means that there's so many loops that are going to be left open.
Okay.
Okay? So you need to be specific. Even if you just look at one artist that you like from this body, like pick.
Monet does more, I guess.
Let me finish the sentence. Pick Modigliani, for
Okay.
example, and then use these to say, in this piece, the same posture is used to suggest this. But by the figure looking down rather than looking at you, there's a distinction between naked and nude. This one I would say is nude because it's this, this, and this. This one isn't nude
Okay.
because the figure's looking at you. They're
Challenging.
challenging your
control.
gaze.
Okay.
Yeah. They're challenging your gaze. They're challenging what you're saying. Yeah? I think what will happen is you'll have too many open loops.
Okay.
Because if I read this and you said the idealized viewer's gaze, I'd be like, well, then someone like Jenny Savile would be neither naked nor nude because she's not presenting an idealized